How high will England's flag be flying?
Hopefully we're back. Hopefully. You guys back? Internet cut off. First for part 2. Oh, sugar. I just spilled my beer. No. Everything's going wrong. Hey, Sean. We're back. I think the internet in New Zealand, probably around the world, has been taking a bit of a hammering, so maybe that's part of it with everybody on lockdown. So, yeah. And my poor beer is on the floor. I got a little bit left. Seems to be working again. Yeah, hopefully it holds out this time. Because, yeah, I guess people are watching a fair bit more Netflix than whatnot than normal. Right, I'm going to check it back on. I am up to 24 minutes and 8 seconds, if I'm correct. Yeah, 24 minutes and 8 seconds. I believe the Aussies are about to line up a shot at goal. Ran out of Milo. What do I drink now? I drink water. It's good for you. And it's free. Or drink beer. Beer's good too. As long as you don't spill it on the floor like I just did. I don't know how many minutes is into the game. Oh, the ball's just falling over. Michael Liner. Tournament points 58. 2 tries, 10 conversions. Is this the first score of the game? Where's that pile of sand when you need it? I know, right? He's missed the penalty. 22 minutes in. He missed the penalty. Shocker. It was pretty much a sitter. Yeah, I had to restart because the internet cut off. In terms of the game, I'm up to 25 minutes and 29 seconds on the YouTube vid. If you guys are looking, that's the one I'm watching. Now up to 25 minutes, 45 seconds. It's an English maul. The Aussies have just missed the penalty, so it's still 0-0 after like 23 minutes. South Africa has banned the sale of booze. Oh, no. In a time of lockdown, how can you be without the booze? New Zealand liquor sales have been through the roof. All-time records, higher than Christmas, they said. Threw it on the TV. Nice. I'm on the TV with the game and you guys are on the laptop. Quality isn't too bad. Yeah, there was another stream that I found of the same game, which was worse. So I was like, this one's a little bit better. It looks like it was recorded on someone's VHS at home, which is not the worst. That was close to being a legendary kick by England. Yeah, if you missed it, England kicked a ball which was like one little turn away from being a perfect touch finder, but it just went too far. You're on the iPad. Nice. That's the good thing these days. You got so many devices you can put the game on. Fingers crossed the internet holds up this time. I'm probably tempting fate by saying that. My internet is usually pretty stable at home, but I have noticed the odd time in the last few days, funnily enough, that it's been kind of cutting out. But I guess when I'm not doing a live stream, it cuts out for 10 seconds. It doesn't matter. You're doing a live stream, it cuts out for 10 seconds, and it's done. Oh, Campese chip and chase. Campese. Oh, he's blown it. Oh, my Lord. I know chip and chase is never easy. The rugby ball can do horrendous things. Oh, but far out, you would have backed Campese to get that one. Man. Working at home. Yeah, I start back at work on Monday. I've got the work laptop out in the kitchen. I haven't used it yet, but I was smart enough when I left work because this week's all been on annual leave. The previous Friday, I was like, take your laptop in case you don't get to come back to the office. So at least I kind of called that, even if I still went on holiday and then had to emergency come back to Auckland. Where are we at the video? 28 minutes, 42 seconds. Australia on attack, like 6 meters out from the English line. And England have just won a penalty on defense. They're holding out. Where are you in Kiwi country? Hamilton? I'm in Auckland. I am in Auckland. I decided to take a trip to the South Island this week with the missus. It was long planned. I wasn't like, hey, there's a virus, let's take a trip. But yeah, I had to come back in something of a hurry. The holiday was called short. Dang, tough one there, yeah, man. Campese, on another day, you feel like controls that one. Kia ora, Stephen. I had no idea about this game. Yeah, man. I have never seen it before. Let's go beer number 2. Beer number 1, like stream number 1, ended up on the floor. I came prepared. It's been in a cold bag, so no worries about being warm. People are always concerned about my beers being warm. Cheers, everybody. Good to have you along. During lockdown time, the Aussies are about to take their second shot at goal. They are none from one so far. Do you live stream from your mobile phone? Nah, I haven't tried that actually. How many minutes gone did he say? 31? He's finally kicked the penalty. So we got the first points on the board. Update the whiteboard. Aussies are in the lead. Penalty to Michael Liner. South Africans love their booze. Don't know how that one's going down. I hope people stocked up beforehand, but panic buying booze. There you go. I am one of those thinking you're drinking warm beer. I came prepared, Sam. I came prepared. My family and I were planning to go to the US in June, but now we're changing to go to Queenstown instead. You think we should go to Queenstown? The US or just stay in Auckland? Bro, I was in Queenstown when our Prime Minister was like, lockdown in 48 hours, and I was like, holy moly, I'm at the bottom of the South Island and need to get quickly back to the North Island before travel shuts down. So I would like to go to Queenstown. I would recommend Queenstown. I didn't get to see much of Queenstown my first trip there, but everything was closed because it was lockdown. I got to go for a nice walk up the hill before leaving. Jobs. They put the jobs up on the screen. They just put Tim Horan, club. It was like Brisbane country. Job. Sales representative. Because they're amateur days, they needed to have a job. He's a salesman. That's amazing. That's amazing. You see me at 2 Blues games, and you saw me going for a walk today. You definitely didn't see me going for a walk today, because I didn't go for a walk today. I stayed home, unless you saw me in my front yard. Oh, big run by Horan down the right wing. Just had to run it into touch. You guys got those 007 Heinekens in New Zealand? What's a 007 Heineken? Is that to do with one of the movies that they're promoting? First time you've seen me have more than one bottle? Come on, man. That can't be true. I drank sake on camera once when the Japanese beat the Irish. Drove around the South Island last year, most beautiful country in the world. You like it? Yeah. See, I initially booked that holiday. Oh, the Aussies have scored a try. 30 minutes played. Ewan McKenzie. Wow. Scored a try in a World Cup final. I did not know that about Ewan McKenzie. What's his nickname? Line out maul. Just drove it over. Empty stadium. That stadium's looking pretty full. He told me not to drink too much. I'm not drinking too much. Half my beer ended up on the floor. Wasted time for a wine. Sounds like you're a man who should know from our conversation earlier today. I have read that. I need my wine education, to be fair. I'm not that au fait with my wines. Do you know Canada made this tournament's quarterfinal? I did know that. And they played the All Blacks, right? Queenstown is amazing. Went there last year. My first time on a plane. Nice. I have also been to Queenstown. And like I said, not a lot was open. Oh, I need to update the board. I actually missed the conversion. Did he kick it? Oh, 9-0. There we go. Oops, sorry, Australia. Tries are still worth 4 points, apparently. That's good for any Aussies watching. Here you are. I know, right? Let's go Australia. It's like Heineken doing the usual promotional stuff. Yeah, Heineken gets involved with anything and everything in terms of their promotion. Essay is try in French. How animated is that ref? I have noticed that the refs back in the old games were a lot more animated. When they scored tries, they really put their hand up, blew that whistle like it was something to be celebrated. And the uniform, man. Oh, I think England have just blown a very good chance there 30 years ago. Where's the replay? I want to see that. Was there a man covering him or no? Commentators think that was a potential try. Where am I watching the Six Nations? When it comes back? Probably at home. Probably at home. There's usually one game on at a pretty ungodly hour, like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and the next one's on at a more reasonable hour, like 5 or 6 o'clock. Ewan McKenzie's nickname was Link. You are exactly right, Sam. As soon as you say it, I know that it's correct. Link. I think because he was the missing link. Pretty sure that's why they called him that. And the 1995 World Cup tries worth 5, penalties mean 1995 World Cup tries worth 5, and penalty means you get your own line out. Guess the rules did slowly change over time. The AB's training it. The ABs are in self-isolation. I saw a video partially the other day of ALB and DMAC together. I guess they live together. They're probably doing some training at home. It seems like most of the guys have got some kind of home garage training set up, like weights and stuff. Which minute I am up to? 38:37 on the YouTube link that I put in earlier. New Zealand is on lockdown. Super Rugby cancelled indeed. Possession 47% England, Australia 53. Australia has really started coming back into the game. I've stopped keeping count of the lineouts. I was doing that initially, but there's too many of the things I can't keep track. Now Super Rugby's not going on. You going to do any other Super Rugby videos? Yeah, I've recorded one already, which I still need to edit, which is like the logo rankings. I've never been like in urgent need to do a logo rankings video because I don't have as strong feelings for the logos as I did some of the jerseys. Like the jerseys change every year, and some of them are legit bad, but the logos I kind of get used to. The linesman is a well-known Kiwi ref at the time. Name evades me. Oh, I missed this. Actually, no, you're right. I think I do know his face, but the name I have no idea. Oh, England have just missed a penalty. The pace of the game was certainly quicker. Oh, England have got numbers here, surely. Although, from memory, they don't score a try in this final. This game, brutal as rugby back in there must have been good. Quite different, eh? Like the same, but still quite different. Ever seen The Kick, the Stephen Donald film? I have seen it. I have. I remember it being kind of low budget at times, but other times it was all right. Logo rankings, yeah. Something a bit of fun, man. We still need to keep talking about the game, even if there's no games on. But like, I feel like part of the reason I like the jersey rankings is they do change every year, and you can legit say like that jersey sucks. The old one was better, or wow, that new jersey is awesome. I like it much better than the old one. But with logos, for the most part, that's the same logo, the same logo, the same logo, the same logo. So you get used to it, and I don't feel as strongly about the logos. They're all kind of fine. There's not any real terrible ones. Committed 7 to that ruck. I know, right? Nowadays, man. How much space would you leave out wide if you did that? Trying out new stuff. Yeah, I mean, I've always thought about doing a logo one, but like I said, because the logos kind of are what they are, it's never been like real high priority. I have to do that. I think it's funny. England invented rugby, home of the game. They've only ever won one World Cup. Well, I guess it's one more than France and Wales and Ireland and Scotland and Italy and Italy. So Argentina. Find the 1987 Political Cup game. It's a forgotten match. I looked for it. I couldn't find it. I had a look on YouTube and couldn't find it. I did order, in preparation for this kind of shutdown of World Rugby, I did order a bunch of old rugby DVDs, but they have not arrived. And with the country on lockdown, they will not arrive until after. You got a top 3 beers. I'm not sure that I'm that much of a beer kind of connoisseur. Like, I just drink the stuff. You generally can't go wrong with Corona, but that's kind of an unfortunate name right now. What other beers would I normally drink? I wasn't a fan of the Chinese beers when I was in China. They're generally pretty low strength. Kiwi beers. What Kiwi beers would I generally drink? Believe it or not, I don't actually mind Spates. One of my mates who does really take his alcohol seriously looks at me like I'm a dog when I drink Spates. He thinks it's terrible, but I don't mind it. Like I said, I'm not that fussy. Same for football, one World Cup England, true. Coopers, true. You can't find it anywhere. I think France are a good chance in 2023. That's true. I'm having a Corona now. They're on discount because of obvious reasons. Yeah, nice. That is funny how humans are like that, eh? Like, would not drink the beer because of the name. Corona with lemon. It has to have the lemon, right? Although if you do it at home, you don't usually do that. Go to sleep. It's nearly 10. I know, right? 9 o'clock's generally a good time to do the streaming because it's not too late in New Zealand. Other parts of the world are still getting up. Steinlager. Too early to decide how the 2023 World Cup's going to go, indeed. Has he missed another penalty? That's 6 points the English are left out there. Then no wonder they're not looking that good. Half time. Wow. Half time 9-0. Are they just going to hang about it on the pitch at halftime? Wow. Awesome. I wasn't born in 91. I was 3 in 99, half through, and was 6 last letters load. Triumph. Haven't been great times since. Yeah, fair enough. It's funny because when I was growing up, Aussie had the Bledisloe Cup when I was like getting into my rugby and whatnot. So, yeah, I used to not like George Gregan much. A Corona a day keeps the virus away. I think it's more about washing your hands and not touching your face, but yeah, we'll go with that. Kirin is okay in China because it's brewed by the Old Lime Brewery's plant in Suzhou. No way. Did not know that. Like Corona with lime, true. Away jersey rankings. I'll definitely do the away jersey rankings. That one should be quite fun because some of them, the New Zealand ones, often are pretty bad this year. They're playing like dogs. Yeah, the quality of this game has not been that great thus far. A lot of kicking, a fair few errors. The lineouts have been a bit of a crapshoot. So, yeah. 5-minute turnaround. That's amazing, eh? Good match right now. It is fast. Yeah, there's been like a lot of errors, but you got to admit it has been fast. It is much faster than the game nowadays. There's so many fewer stoppages, and when they do stop, it's not for as long. Another one. I guess the kicking game has evolved since. True. These old ads. I know. I do. It's one thing I kind of miss about the old VHS. Like when I was a kid, I used to record stuff on VHS, be it sports or movies. And when you would, if you didn't cut out the ads manually, like for me as a kid, often it was after my bedtime. So I would just set the video to record, go to bed. And then you still got the ads. And when you go back and watch that like 10 years later, you look at the ads and you're like, oh my Lord, those are so terrible. The ads can be pretty entertaining. And I also miss the kind of VHS convenience to record stuff. Like they're showing some really old Super Rugby games on Sky right now. And I would probably record them if I could, but I don't know if there's an easy way to record them because I don't have my Sky. I don't know. I'm sure there's a way I could do it. Oh, Gillette is still the best a man can get back in 1991. 2 blades back then. What is it now? Like 4? Gillette sensor and Gillette gel. The best a man can get. There we go. Favorite and or best ever blues player of all time? Zan Brooke was always pretty good for the Blues. Sean Fitzpatrick, but that's getting real old school. Carlos was a bit of an icon. Yeah, I'd have to have a think about if I have a particular favorite. A Xerox, I know, Xerox and Gillette. That's kind of amazing that they just stand around at halftime on the pitch. They don't go into the sheds or anything, but the English crowd is still chanting Sweet Chariot, so that's cool. $40 minutes to play. Joe Rokothoko, favorite blues player of all time. That's a pretty good choice. He was pretty good. Rapini Thautau was pretty good. Jonah Lomu. Second half. Man, this game is flying. Wow, the Aussies from the counter attack off, straight from the kickoff. And they've knocked it on. Yeah, Lomu for the Blues. Kind of, before his kidney troubles really got the best of him. Was a pretty big machine. That was a pretty good Blues team as well in the mid-90s. Half of them were All Blacks. Spencer is my favorite. I want to be him when I get older. He was a lot of people's favorite. He did a very, I think it's on YouTube if you YouTube it. like Toffee Pops, Carlos Spencer. If you haven't seen that ad, you should watch it. My mum liked that ad when I was a fairly young man. What do you think of the youngsters in the Blues right now? They've been doing all right, man. They have been doing pretty good, which is pleasing to see. It seems like the Blues environment is slightly less toxic than it used to be. Some loose passing. I think Lomu had the 11 shaved in his eyebrow when he was with the Blues. That was his iconic thing. Carlos held out front at Bodicka for his best years. True, man. I need to go back and watch some of the 1996 stuff as well to see, like, young Carlos, young Lomu, all that kind of stuff. It's a plastic bag blowing across the pitch. 53-10 if you guys are watching along. The Aussies had cracked the English line-out code at this point. I wouldn't be surprised, man. The English line-out was getting hammered. It's one thing that's familiar about this when I watched the 1987 game. It's like the All Blacks just they obliterated the French line-out. They just kept losing so much ball. Michael Liner is kicking pretty well, you got to admit. Apart from that missed penalty early. Will the English win their own line-out ball this time? Yes, they did. The scrums are so quick. I know, right? Scrums are quick. Lineouts are fairly quick. There is a lot less mucking around. There's people smoking in the crowd. Same as 1987. People just lighting up a cigarette in the crowd. That's the link to the game if you want to watch. I am at 55-15. Oh man, the English have had another chance down the left wing. Couldn't quite get it done. Scrums back then equal more injuries. I guess they have made a lot of the changes in terms of the game to increase safety. Like in the 1987 game, if you guys didn't watch my videos, at one point Sean Fitzpatrick was on the ground and the French guy just literally came over and just kicked him. Like just kicked him with the bottom of his, like with his sprigs. Just, well, there's a streaker. Man, England have got to get some points. Time flies by. I know, man. The time in these games, I noticed that when I was watching the 1987 game, maybe it's also because they don't put the time on the screen. So you're not like clock watching. The game just flies. Oh, England need some points. A streaker, yeah. Back in the days when they showed streakers on the camera. They don't do that nowadays. Pick for New Zealand scrum half at 23. Oh, I think DMAC probably has to feature somewhere. Oh, they missed the drop goal. They've left 9 points out there, and they're down by 9 points. It is also interesting to see how many of these companies which are advertising at the ground are still around these days. Famous Grouse is still around. Heinz is still around. Rico is still around. There must be some which are not. Steinlager, even they're advertising there. Makes me sad watching classic Wallabies games. Wallabies were so good. It's a different time, man. But they did have some very good players, it's true. I don't know how the English have not scored any points because they've been playing some fairly attractive rugby, man. Aussies had a great 1991. That's true, man. Like, look at some of the players in the lineup. You can see why they were so good. I know it's just rugby, but I hope we don't lose the Super Rugby season. Yeah, man, it's that way for a lot of sports right now. Everything's off, apart from I think some esports. I know the AFL was up for a while, but that's off now. So yeah, I don't know. I can't see it coming back personally, but we will see. We will see. That Italian was the best. Hey? Mark, good morning, man. How's it going stateside? What time is it in the States? It must be either really early or really late. Brumbies are playing well. The Blues are playing well. The Crusaders and the Chiefs have looked kind of vulnerable at times. Like, it's a pretty open season of Super Rugby. Everyone's had a win. Everyone's had a loss. But yeah, it may just end up getting canned, which is unfortunate. Not as good as the 87 final. Scrappy. Yeah, I would agree with that so far. I preferred the 87 final thus far, but then again, I'm a Kiwi, and it's hard not to enjoy a game where the New Zealanders won the Rugby World Cup. So, man, that hairdo of the English blindside flanker. Whoa. Nice. Total lockdown. Lockdown here as well, Mark, although it's not strictly enforced. Everywhere's shut except for supermarkets and pharmacies. You can still go for a walk as long as you don't get near anybody. That's where we are at. You're not supposed to leave your neighborhood. this game would be a really interesting one to watch. This, like to see the stats, because there would be a ton of kick meters. Yeah, worst final ever. What do you think of the new Aussie youngsters? The Aussies do have quite a few young guys coming through, man, in the forwards and in the backs. That's why I'm not giving up on Aussie rugby, man. I feel like they can find 23 guys to put in a very competitive side. Everyone is watching World versus COVID-19 match, and the world is getting its ass kicked. China's doing all right. They still got the second most number of cases, but there's not many new cases over there anymore. We'll have to see how that pans out. I think a few countries have managed, like Singapore and Taiwan, didn't they manage to keep it kind of like fairly under control? Japan, didn't they get it pretty well in check? New Zealand's numbers are skyrocketing every day. I think so are the States. I'm a fan of Mark Nawanganitawase. Yeah, I know the guy. And the young winger Harry Wilson is very good. Yep. Same with that prop, Angus Bell. And like Rob Valtini. There's a bunch of good guys. Pataya when he's not injured. Lots of good young players. I'm guessing all summer rugby tours are not going ahead. I would have to guess so, Mark. I reckon they'll probably get called off. Like, yeah. I can't imagine them going ahead, which is a big pity. But what are you going to do when there's a pandemic, eh? Angus Bell watched the moves at school. Inted tour got cancelled. Going back to when someone asked you what position were you in college, where did you go to college? Was it a rugby school? I went to Onehunga High School, which is my local high school. It's not really a rugby school. They flirted with like the top division here when I was a student, but mostly didn't play in the premier grade. They were usually a grade below. So it wasn't really a big thing. I don't remember ever going to watch the boys play on the weekend, which was a bit of a pity. Like I know some of the schools, it's like a massive event. You see it, like the crowds are huge, bigger than some of the club rugby matches, but yeah, not at my school. Although Andrew Makaleo from the Crusaders, he went to that school, so they have produced the odd guy. How much do you know about Christ College? We were scheduled to play against them. Christ College, that's one of the Christchurch schools, is it? Offahinga was born in Tonga, lived and played in New Zealand. He travelled to Australia, lost his visa, and was stuck in Australia. Is that true? If that's true, that's amazing. He was in John Lomu Rugby. That's why I first knew him. Yeah. Like the PlayStation 1 game. MC smashed Onehunga High. Yeah. Onehunga wasn't very good at rugby when I was there. You go to Auckland Grammar. Grammar's got a big rugby tradition. Yeah, Christchurch School. Yeah, I think they're pretty good. Have you closed down airports? Yes, airports are shut down apart from essential travel, so the movement of like medical staff and anyone else deemed essential. I would not be able to book a ticket anywhere right now. I would imagine the States is the same, or not yet. Offsides, that's one thing that hasn't changed. Rugby is still all about the offsides. Oh, Bob Dwyer. Wow. We need some points, people. There's been a big dry spell. There's a bunch of aerial ping pong going back and forth. Both teams playing not to lose at the moment. England have got to take some chances. Where the hell is Bob Dwyer going? Or is he going back to his seat? Maybe they went to the bathroom. Game hasn't really gone anywhere. Yeah, it's had its odd moment, but it has kind of stopped and started a fair bit through it as well. All domestic is only for medical and government. International is banned. Right, so pretty much the same as New Zealand. We are still getting international flights returning Kiwis from overseas, but no non-citizens or residents are allowed to enter. All people who aren't immediately going to the city they land in. So, for example, if you are from Hamilton but arrive in Auckland, you have to stay in Auckland in a hotel for 2 weeks to be isolated. So, yep, it's about as quarantined as we get. I reckon 2008 was a great time to watch footy. We may get some of those games in that period if this lockdown keeps going. My holiday with Mrs. 2 Cents. I actually started talking about this earlier, but got cut off. So we initially booked to go on basically a bus that drives you from place to place. Because I'm not a huge fan of driving for 5 hours at a time because my wife doesn't drive. So when New Zealand put in its initial travel ban, that got cancelled. So the people gave me a rental car instead. So I did travel to the South Island. We got there. We looked around Christchurch for a day. We drove to Queenstown. And when we got to Queenstown, we found out, lockdown's happening in 48 hours. So we had to book an emergency flight back to Auckland. We did have a look around Queenstown because we still had one free day, although nothing was open. And then we couldn't get on the same flights back to Auckland, so she got a flight from Invercargill in the morning. So I drove to Invercargill to drop her off. We went to Bluff, which is the bottom of New Zealand. I'd never been there before, so that was pretty cool. We didn't plan on going there. So I went to Bluff, dropped the missus at Invercargill. She flew back to Auckland, and then I had to drive to Dunedin, which is 2 hours away, to get back to Auckland. So it was a holiday, but it was abrupt, and it was not what we planned. But we're back and safe, so I cannot complain. I remember watching this final in 1991, boring as Wallace. We're at 60 minutes. It's 9-0. I haven't been enthralled as yet. There's been a couple of moments of magic. Campese went close with a kick and chase. Yeah, there's not been a whole lot going on. There's been a ton of kicking. A lot of lineouts. Quite a few scrums. It's not been a great ad for the game in 1991. Did I eat some oysters? No, because everything was closed. Everything was closed. So yeah, I went to Bluff. I went to that Stirling Point to get my photo taken with the little road sign that says how many kilometers everything is away. And then I left Bluff. What does the other whiteboard say? The other whiteboard has some stuff about the video I just did today. I haven't reviewed it yet. I'm going to do some career videos looking back at some players' careers. So, yeah, there's some stats from one particular player's career on the whiteboard. Poor Mr. and Mrs. 2 Cent. Yes, but I mean, to be fair, we left on a Sunday, and the day we left, the Prime Minister was on TV saying, don't travel domestically because this stuff's getting serious. We're at level 2 out of 4 levels. And I was like, 20 cases, I think it was. We should have a week. A week should be fine. And then, like, the next day, she said, nah, level 3. And then we're going to level 4 in 2 days. So I was like, oh, bugger. Should have listened. But, oh well, you live and you learn. It was an experience. My wife and I still had a good time. We didn't take the kids with us. So it was a bit of a break. And like I said, I went to Invercargill, I went to Bluff, I went back to Dunedin, which I hadn't planned on doing. So I stopped in Mataura. Do you know Justin Marshall's hometown? Mataura. I stopped there. I flew my drone in Mataura. I was like, I'm in Mataura. I've got to do something. Will there be lots of New Zealanders who lose their jobs like the States? The government, England are kicking a penalty. Oh, they finally got points on the board. Finally got points after like 65 minutes. The government has put through a package which says, like, I think people whose companies are shut down will get like 80% of their wages if their employer applies. So hopefully people won't be losing jobs. But there's some issues where some sites, like if it's a commercial site and you rent from somebody that site, your landlord is still saying, bro, give me the money. But the business is saying, we're not open, got no money. So I think those issues still need to be sorted through. How many jerseys do you have now? Did you see my Twitter post today? I took a photo of all my jerseys. Someone sent me like a show us your shirts thing on Twitter. So I took a photo of all my jerseys at the same time. I think it was like 87. Yeah, a lot. Still not at 100. Mrs. 2 Cents would be exotic down there. Yes. I noticed there's like Auckland is quite multicultural, but other places around New Zealand not as much. Yeah. But it was all right. We didn't have everyone was good as gold. Everyone was very, very good. Very happy, very friendly in Queenstown and in Christchurch and in Invercargill. We didn't talk to anyone in Bluff. The gas station guy who I talked to in Dunedin was kind of like, we need to lock down the North Island, but the South Island should be all good. Don't think it quite works that way. But yeah. You're a big fan of our Prime Minister? I should have listened to her. When she said don't travel domestically, I should have taken that as a hint not to travel domestically. But I was like, nah, she'll be right. I knew, like I mentioned earlier, like I still brought my work laptop home on the Friday because like I might need this. But I was still like, I've at least got a week. It's definitely going to be a week before lockdown, and then 2 days later. Tell me which player is on the board. It will be a good prize for people that are watching the streams. I'll give you a clue. The person who's on the board has played for the All Blacks, the Blues, the Chiefs, and the Hurricanes. That help? Buy one more. 87 is not good. Enjoying the camera quality. Actually, how was it? Well, standard definition 1991 VHS footage by the look of things. The game has lost my interest to a degree. There's been a few moments. I do enjoy the pace of things, so they don't muck around. But the game itself has not been enthralling. Will we be having a 2 Cents and Mrs. 2 Cents video anytime soon? Mrs. Two Cents is not really into her rugby, so probably not. Maybe one of these days. Maybe. Lomu. Yeah, you guys got it. It's Lomu. I've done the video. I haven't watched it back yet. I feel like because I didn't take very good notes before I prepped, so I think I kind of rambled through, so I may end up doing it again. But I'll have a look. I was trying to do it in that window when my daughter is asleep and my wife is entertaining my son, which is not, it's like an hour. So I had to get all the notes ready, do the whiteboard, put some jerseys in the background, put on a jersey, record the video. So yeah, it's a small window to get it done. But yeah, we'll see. You should rewatch the 2011 Rugby Cup final. That was an exciting game. That game had my blood pressure high. 2011, man. That was too close. We should have lost that game. 8-7. Yeah. Too easy. Yeah, if you're going to do a player career video, you probably should start with one of the big names. So I think I'll go with Lomu. Doesn't get much bigger than him. England just doesn't want to win it. Yeah, they've had a lot of good chances, but have not been able to convert any of them into a try. See if Liner can slot this penalty over. Good kick. Three from four for Liner today. Very good kick. It was. Just saw your jerseys. You have heaps, bro. Barely enough space in your yard. I know. That was a mission, hanging up all those jerseys, bringing them all back into the house. I've washed 30 of them. Because I was like, if I'm going to get them out, I might as well wash some of them. Because some of them, I literally put it on, do a 10-minute video, don't wear it again for 6 months. So a lot of them haven't been washed for a long time. The ones which I wear for any length of time, of course, I wash it. But I was like, man, if I'm going to get all these jerseys out, let's just wash them. I'm in lockdown. What else are you going to do? Lockdown. So do some washing. It's a sunny day. Do some washing. New Zealand against the Lions, unbelievable bad. Which player are you talking about? Colin Farrell? Or are you talking to somebody else in the chat? Oh, is that deliberate knock on? That's a yellow card nowadays, Mr. Campese. England have men over. Man, that's pretty. Oh, that's definitely a yellow card. Do you know the full-time score? I deliberately didn't look it up. I think I have an idea in my head, but I deliberately didn't look it up. Now someone will tell us in the chat, but I didn't look it up. Red, maybe even red. It was very much cynical play, wasn't it? Pretty terrible. That's the Colin Farrell I'm thinking of. Which Colin Farrell is that? Oh, there is a rugby player named Colin Farrell. Born March 1956. Who's the same age as my mum. Oh my god, there's actually a YouTube video which says worst All Black of all time, Colin Farrell. Wow. I never heard of him. When I read Colin Farrell, I thought about the Irish actor as well. He was a fullback. I'm going to have to investigate that, Mark, after the chat, after the game. I'm going to look up his videos to see why he was so bad. When I look at the chat, I look confused. Yeah, probably. Maybe I'm just squinting. Absolutely cynical. Yeah, about as cynical as it gets, man. That was terrible. That was atrocious. That slap down. Colin Farrell was terrible as well. I look forward to finding out about Colin Farrell. I have seen Alexander. That was a terrible movie as well. Now the game is getting somewhere. It has picked up a bit in the last few minutes. Although I think I'm going to be eternally disappointed in David Campese for that slapdown, but I guess that was just the dumb thing back in those days. If it saved a 7-pointer or a 6-pointer, then why not do it? Some of the kicks are just hopeless as well. How far are we up to? 124.38, and the stream is only 138.50 long. So, well, the YouTube video. So we're getting near the end. Not sure yellow cards in 91. You got a sin bin. I'm not sure either, man. Some of the rules were quite different back in those days. How many yellows would there have been? I would say at least a couple. Some of the guys have been pretty guilty of lying all over the ball to kill it off. But again, when that happens in this game, the ref's just like, right, you guys are going forward. That's a maul. Not a maul. We'll set for a scrum. Like, yeah. But it's funny that, like, even though that's a way of slowing the game down so much as they did, the game still moves pretty quickly because they didn't mess around with the scrum. When they set the scrum, they just kind of kept it going. Doesn't take a minute to set the thing. The lineouts take a lot longer to set than the scrums. When did they change tries from 4 to 5? I think after this World Cup, right? I feel like I vaguely remember them switching tries, and I think as a youngster I thought that's cool, that'll mean more tries, but I could be just having a false memory. I don't know. Man, the English go for these backline moves, and then nothing came of that one. You doing all good, Harry? Oh, man, England. Guscott. Carling. How did they not score? I feel like the I feel like the English should have scored at least 2, maybe 3 tries here, honestly. 92-93 season was the first. Thank you for that, Darth. I was probably like 9 years old, so I don't remember that one, but maybe I did. Excited about Rugby Challenge 4. Now that I'm on lockdown, I'm tempted to get Rugby 20. I'm tempted. I don't have much time to play video games, and generally, rugby games are pretty rubbish. So I'm umming and ahhing about it. Always coming in from offside positions. It's definitely a thing. Pass over the head, and they knocked it on. All Blacks are the only team to have missed out on the semi-finals. All Blacks are the only team to have missed out on the semi-finals once in Rugby World Cup history. Okay, that's a pretty good stat. Lockdown has me bored to absolute death. Yeah, my kids keep me busy, fortunately. There's nowhere I can take them, that's the only thing. Underwood should have scored in the first and then that run, I know. They've just said there's only seconds left. I guess they could tie it up with a converted try. My uni lectures are online, so I have things to do. Yes, the uni I work for is still going ahead with online lectures as well, so we will be working next week. Ooh, that was close to a knock on. Oh, he did knock it on. Yep, it's good to see you in the streams, Harry, along with a few other people. Especially in lockdown, I guess you appreciate it a bit more, huh? How many beers is that now? Well, this is my second beer. So cheers to everybody here. Thanks for hanging out tonight or this morning. But most of my first beer ended up on the floor. When the first stream cut off, I ended up knocking my glass over. Now I know why my memories were of crying bombs in London all those years ago. Were you in England at the time? No way. Oh, they're in injury time. England need to score. Is that the final score? I was pretty sure England only got 6 points, but I didn't know that Australia only got 12. So, if nothing else, it meant that this game... Oh, they've just passed it to the Aussies. It meant that this game went down legit to the wire, like anybody could have won it. Which Rugby World Cup finals have you watched? Well, I've now watched 87 and then this one. I saw 95 when I was a child. I don't think I've seen 99. And then I've seen all the rest. Yeah. I've seen 03. I've definitely seen 07, 11, 15, 19. Yeah. So it's going to be good to watch 95 because I've only seen it once. And it'll be good to see 99 because I haven't seen it. And then, yeah, 03 I haven't seen for years. 07 I haven't seen for years. I think 2011 and 2015 I've probably watched subsequently, so I'm probably pretty familiar with how those games went. There shouldn't be any surprises. Mrs. Two Cents won't be happy about the floor. Hey, Mr. Two Cents had to clean it up, so don't worry about that. If Mr. Two Cents spills a beer, Mr. Two Cents cleans it up. Game over. Full time. Aussies have won it. Champions of the world. Would you look at that? Congratulations, Australia in 1991. That's your first Rugby World Cup. The English guys look gutted. And the fans storm the pitch like they used to be able to do. 99 was a shocker. Really? You trying to tell me both the time the Aussies won, it's a shocker? Well done. Yeah, well done, 1991 Australia. Good job. What made you go with the name 2 Cents Rugby for your YouTube channel? Basically because I didn't want to make myself out to be some fancy pants analyst because I'm not. I'm just a guy who likes rugby, talking about rugby, so it's just kind of my 2 cents. So hence the name. And there's some guy in like a bunny outfit with the Aussie players. You would not see that nowadays. Wow, look at all those fans just streaming onto the pitch. I also remember doing that as a child, and I used to, not so much me, but my brother especially, used to go and hunt autographs from the players. So, yeah, you can't do that nowadays. Phil Kearns. I guess the good thing about having him commentating, playing, is he's not commentating. Here's the Queen shaking the hands of the English players. Disappointed. Tim Hoare was the man, that's for sure. How old is this game you just watched? Well, 1991. How many years ago is that? A lot. I was still in primary school. Such simpler times. Indeed. Indeed. I've mentioned it once before, but my brother used to go with me to the games and my dad, and he was real big on hunting autographs, but Zinzan Brooke would never sign his autographs. My brother still kind of holds a grudge against him to this day. Zinzan Brooke would just make a beeline for the sheds. He would not sign anybody's autograph. And my brother had loads of autographs. 29 years ago. Is it really? Damn. That is a long time. Most of the guys in this game as players are either coaches or commentators now, if they're involved with rugby at all. The Aussie guy who scored the try, Mackenzie, he was the Wallabies coach for a while. And then they're going to present the trophy. Is it John Major? Oh, my Lord. Nick Farr-Jones is getting the trophy. And there he goes. I've seen that shot before. Oh, happier times for Aussie rugby. Fair enough. Hold that grudge. I know, right? Hold the trophy. Remember to shake the hand of the Queen. Maybe I should go back and watch the semi-final. They just mentioned the All Blacks losing the semi-final. I haven't seen that one. Like most times the All Blacks have crashed and burned in the World Cup, I've seen that game where it happened, but I haven't seen the one from 91. Nick Farr-Jones is an utter prick. Stock trader in Sydney. Really? That's unfortunate. Oh, man, I like the streams. They're a bit of fun. It's less one-way traffic than the videos, although I do like the comment sections too. Met him 3 times. Terrible. That's really bad. It sucks when you meet somebody like that and they turn out to be a bit of a prick. David Campese, he didn't have much of a big game. Like, he had that one chance, but he didn't do a heck of a lot. All good for doing the stream. I'm on lockdown, man. I think at some point we do 95. We have to do 95. 95 is going to be a big one. I might have to time it with some of our South African friends so they can watch along as well. Although I think 9 o'clock should still work for them because that should be in the morning. So you're on lockdown. There's nothing better to do, man. So 95 will be the next one on the agenda. All good, Jonathan. I love Phil Kearns, but still mad about his comments about the Warriors. Yeah, agreed. 1991 semi had David Campese goose step and blind pass to Tim Horan. Maybe I should go watch it. Okay, that video is finished and it's loading Squid Rugby. Not a bad thing. Yeah, stream's a bit of fun. I admit I'm looking forward to the 95 stream more than this one, but going 87 to 95 would be a bit of a jump. So we'll go in order. I'm not sure if we'll go the full round of Rugby World Cups, but I'm definitely going to go through some of the classic ones. So we will see. 95 was heartbreaking. We got to do it, man. We got to revisit the 95 World Cup. I'm pretty sure it's on YouTube. I'll double check. I've had a look for a fair few classic games, and they are on YouTube. So that's a good thing. I feel like a lot of the more modern games won't be on YouTube because of the copyright stuff. I will have a look around anyway. But we have to do 95, man. I'm looking forward to it. Only 12-6, very surprised. Yeah, that game could have had a lot more points, but a lot of missed chances, a lot of kicking, a lot of errors, but all played at a pretty good pace. So I'm glad I've seen it. It was a first for me. But yeah, I will probably catch you guys. I'm not sure when I'll do the 95 game. We'll give it a few days. Middle of the week, maybe. We'll have a look. South Africa, New Zealand 95 should be a good one. But yeah, cheers, guys. It is 10 to 11, so I'm going to head off to bed. Enjoy the rest of your day, evening, morning, night, whatever it is where you guys are. Cheers as always for keeping me company for a bit. Sorry the stream cut off midway through if you were here for the first one. But yeah, internet is busy. When you do, give some warning. What's the best way for me to give warning? I set this one up like an hour and a half beforehand. Maybe I set it up like a day before. I'll try. I'll put out some kind of notification about it. But yeah, cheers, guys. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. All that kind of good stuff. And yeah, I'll catch you guys again later. Take it easy, fellas. See you.